After we cross the revenue threshold, it's kind of a common journey for a lot of SaaS companies where you're growing early on. There's so much of focus on net new revenue. Revenue growth is the primary focus. But once you cross a threshold and you're starting to renew customers. So let's say you come to a point, as an example, let's say you're running a quarter where you're closing a couple of $1 million of revenue in a quarter, and you're also renewing a couple of $1 million in that same quarter. Now that becomes a very interesting point of no return for a SaaS company. After that, every quarter you're renewing more than you're selling. So that's the point of no return, right? After that, the fundamental economics of SaaS is that your install base is growing and you're able to retain your customers, all of that, right? So when you hit that juncture and when you start seeing that, okay, you did well on the sales and you see surprise churn that happens and you expected that the customers are going to renew, they don't renew. Or there's a surprise expansion that happened. So all of this was a surprise, right? And the status of the union back then was that almost all companies do net promoter score surveys, NPS surveys, and you do the survey and you get some scores. Not everybody would respond, but you would convert that into a PowerPoint and talk about some action items and so on. That was the union at that point in time. So that was the time when Jim and I were talking about it and thinking about, there has got to be a better way. As a SaaS business, we should be staying on top of this. It can't be a surprise. Customer can't be a surprise. Expansion can't be a surprise. We need to be more deliberate about it. That's what we started with. That was the problem statement.